dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew? It's your boy DJ New Kid, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
We're back on the channel with another reaction to this old evil mother. We got Jeffrey Dahmer again. We got the top 10 reveals in the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes. I possibly have to finish the tapes by myself. I'm gonna go, even though we reacted to this, I'm gonna go watch it myself.
Yeah.
But I'll say I don't think you want to finish.
No.
I don't think you want to finish. So we got halfway through the first episode, and she was like, "Nah, I'm good, love. Turn this off." So I said, "All right."
It's just, I don't know. It's a lot.
Because it took a couple days just to even watch the series, though.
Yeah.
But the tapes,
because the tapes, it's just like, okay, because you knew the series,
yeah,
but you actually hearing them talk, hearing everything like full.
and then I'll be telling you even more details
so
that the show don't even like talk about or elaborate on it at all.
Like, and it literally makes me sick to my stomach, and I'm just like, I cannot.
And a heads up to a lot of people, because a lot of people are commenting about him.
Yeah.
If the only information you got about him is from the series, you don't have enough information to like really understand this individual, and a lot of your facts that you might try to come with are gonna be very, very false.
Yeah.
So if you really want to know some information, you're gonna have to either listen to the tapes. I ain't finished them yet, but you're gonna also have to do some research on your own. And as you go down that tunnel, it gets weird and crazy. And you like, damn.
And worse. Yeah.
So don't just take from the series and feel as though you know all the information, because you don't know none, to be real. So with that being said, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want to first part, you gotta do it, check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, lock it in with a thumbs up for us. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about, y'all.
There's no person I've ever known of that was as lonely a human being as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 reveals in Conversations with a Killer, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes.
Dahmer had a rare opportunity, a rare window in time where people were vanishing in the community, but no one knew why.
For this list, we're looking at the most interesting and surprising revelations from Netflix's latest Dahmer docuseries. What reveal shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Jeffrey Dahmer was Wendy Patricus's first job. Conversations with a Killer, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes, features previously unreleased audio recordings with hours of Dahmer speaking with one of his attorneys, Wendy Patricus.
I was a young lawyer at the time. I was in my 20s. I just moved to Milwaukee, and a woman living alone, and I didn't know a lot of people.
The 20-something lawyer first met her client after his arrest in July 1991 at the request of his lead defense attorney, Gerald Boyle. Unbelievably, this was the young lawyer's first case.
There was Jeff sitting in the corner of the table. I was incredibly nervous because this was something that I felt was way over my head.
Patricus says she became close with Dahmer during all their time together. She earned his trust, but then she had to listen to all the disturbing, grisly details of his crimes.
There were times that I felt like a mother to him. There were times that I felt like he was my brother. There were times that I felt like I was his therapist.
That's a lot to ask of any seasoned professional, let alone a rookie.
I received death threats from a number of different sources. There was really only one time that I felt like some of the threats became real.
Number 9. Dahmer's first two...
My question for you, like being a fresh lawyer, can you do a job like that? But I'm like, also with that question, can you deny that job though as a rookie? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like sometimes you really don't know what you can do until you put in a situation to have to do it. It would have been a lot it would have took probably a toll on my mental, especially to like after like hearing all the details of everything, like getting all the information, all the evidence, like all this stuff, and you piecing everything together. You like, damn, this man was like.
And another thing with it, it's like, did she continue to be a lawyer even after the fact? Because some people like, all right, I'm gonna buy out after this one.
I'm pretty sure she did.
But you got to think about it, because even the dude that went against the football player, OJ, the black attorney, he stopped being an attorney a little while after. And like, could that have possibly took a toll on his career?
Who knows?
So that's what I mean by, can you possibly continue? But it's like you put all this time, money, effort into becoming a lawyer. Yeah. But then you get hit with one of these cases, and you like, man. Yeah. And so you start questioning yourself, do I even want this?
Like, is it if I'm going to have to deal with these type of cases?
Yeah, because this is my first one.
That's my first one. Like I said, especially if it's taking, like, a big toll on my mental. And I'm just like she said, I feel like at one point I'm his mother. I'm his brother. He's my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm his therapist. Like, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here?
And then to hear all the detail, because you his lawyer. Yeah. You the person he's going to be the most open and honest with. Yeah. So you got to hear every ounce of information. Yeah.
But you want to build that trust with, you know, your client, or whatever the case may be.
You might not be able to sleep at night.
Ooh, that's a lie.
Were unintentional. Dahmer told Patricus that he didn't intend to kill Stephen Hicks in 1978. He panicked and, at one point, considered confessing to the police.
A lot of guilt, indecision over whether I should confess to it. I just never had the courage to.
Despite the immense guilt he felt, he still did disturbing things to the body and the remains. And though he didn't want to kill again, Dahmer would commit another unplanned murder 9 years later. After a night of drinking with Stephen Twomey, Dahmer convinced his fellow bar patron to accompany him to Milwaukee's Ambassador Hotel, where Dahmer became blackout drunk.
You totally blacked out?
Yeah.
You had no idea that you had done anything?
No, not until I woke up in the morning. Couldn't believe it.
When he woke up, Twomey was dead and visibly beaten. Dahmer didn't remember harming the young man, but evidence said otherwise. He disposed of Twomey similarly to Hicks, but this time he kept some of the remains.
The Twomey murder was a turning point for him.
He finally decided, I'm losing this fight with myself. I can't control it any longer.
Number 8, discover.
I believe it though. I believe, like, I don't think those first two, the way they happened, because you remember that second one, it was like he blacked out. I don't think he necessarily intentionally, because it's been 9 years. And then also the information that we found out, he was already, like, he was just drugging people when he was in the military and doing what he was doing, but he wasn't harming anybody in that degree of death. But he still, even though he's still harming them, but I do believe the first one was an accident. It was like out of I don't know. It was like, because he wanted to just spend time with the guy, but the guy was ready to leave, and he was like, I'm not into that. And he, like, out of impulse, but then the other guy, I don't think he really, you know what I'm saying? But after that one, I think he kind of got intrigued by it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand. Like,
he had too rich of a desire.
My thing with the first one, an accident. That's like you intentionally picking up something. That's not an accident. Accident is like me, like.
No, not necessarily. It was an accident, but he never intended, like, went in with the intent to do it. I think the first two, he never went fully into intent to kill him.
I guess.
Everybody else, I feel like he went into intent. But my thing is, I don't believe within that 9 period that you never did it again.
Okay, I didn't go in with intent to do what I did. So what gave me this? I've never did this before. What gave me this urge to even do what I did the first time? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's
always been a messed up individual, though.
And that's my okay.
That's the only.
I just have a lot of questions, but okay.
But and that's the problem. The reason why I kind of got an issue with the way he passed, because I'm like, it's a lot of things that needed to be answered, and he was the only individual that could have answered it. Mm-hmm. And y'all didn't allow people to really, because finding more information out about him and his mindset and his thought process also gives us information as humans to be able to, you know what I'm saying?
Because my thing is, the reason why I'm like, with the intent type of whatever, I'm like, what was the reason for even taking him back there?
To his house?
Yeah, like, what was, like...
Which one are you talking about?
The first one. I'm on the first one. Like, what was...
He said he wanted to basically have intercourse with him. That was his main thing. And
but how did you think you was going to do that? You don't know...
Then the dude told him, I'm not into that. And he was like, I'm ready to go. But, you know, like you said previously before, he had an issue with control. Yes. So his thing was, no, you're not leaving until I tell you can leave.
And that's my
thing.
His control. You telling me no? That's... I
again, like I said,
if you're not gonna give it to no, I don't believe that I didn't have the intent to. Forget that. Like, if you didn't have the intent to, he told you no, and no is no. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and take you wherever, or you can leave. One or the other, but whatever. Sorry, y'all.
His sexuality. According to Dahmer, it never escalated beyond kissing, and there wasn't a romantic relationship. He continued to repress his sexual identity into adulthood, and while he was staying with his grandmother in the early 1980s, he would even pray for these feelings to go away.
At that time, coming out, it was completely different. That was a struggle for him. He told me, he said, I don't like being gay.
Number 7. Professionals didn't agree on Dahmer's sanity. In January 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer pleaded guilty, but insane.
We're trying to win an insanity defense. This was where he lost control. We're trying to show that, he didn't have that rational thought anymore.
Since he had already confessed, an insanity defense was the way his team of attorneys decided to go. But was Dahmer insane? A number of expert witnesses spoke on behalf of the prosecution, the defense, and independently for the court.
That was a bizarre delusion that he thought that he could take the skulls and the bones of victims and create a power center in which he would be able to get special powers.
And though the doctors had similar findings on other aspects of Dahmer, they did not agree on whether he was sane while committing the murders or not. Dr. Fred Berlin, for the defense, evaluated Dahmer and diagnosed him with necrophilia and believed he was, in fact, insane. However, Dr. Park Dietz, for the prosecution, believed him to be sane based on his tactics for disposal and covering his tracks.
He took steps for every single one of the charged homicides to make sure that he wouldn't get caught.
Number 6.
That is true, because he wasn't messy. But can an insane individual... I believe so.
I don't know.
I believe an insane individual can also be an OCD individual. So they would be... You know what I'm saying? Do you believe he was possibly insane? And do you believe... Another question I have for you. Do you believe that his sexuality also led him into doing what he was doing? The want to hide his sexuality from his family, and the built up urges.
Okay, do I believe he was insane? No, not really. Okay. Cause to what are we? No, I don't. If we talking about. Because I kind of agree with what whoever second guy was. The fact that you were very, strategic. But then again, I'm no
doctor.
I'm no doctor to be like, to what degree, what level, what consider someone insane, what consider to be. I'm not that, so I don't really want to answer that question. But the second question, no. If we using it, what are we, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people before they were able to or comfortable enough to come out to their family or whatever the case. They not out here killing people because they, have this, you know what I'm saying? No, that's no excuse.
No, I was just asking because what I'm saying is it could have been a bottle of the fact that he was trying, this bottle.
Okay, there's so many other outlets. You don't go out here and just be like, okay, well, since I don't have the,
Is that the reason why he possibly was in the military doing what he was doing? Because
knows?
the thing was, while he was in the military, he was drugging men and taking advantage of them.
This is the thing. These are good questions or whatever the case may be.
Like I said previously,
but these are questions for the person. Like they're like you can sit and you can come up with your conclusions to things.
Well, let me ask you.
What?
Let me not to interrupt you, but let me ask you. So, if he was still alive, do you believe a lot of questions would have been answered on down the line?
I can't say if they would or wouldn't, but at least you could have asked to at least try to see if they're, or I don't know. I really feel like this whole situation is just so like.
I believe if he had lived, I think he was willing to be open to a point.
Maybe to a degree.
Yeah.
Maybe to a degree, there would probably been some questions that will be able to have some answers to them, but who knows?
And I believe he could never answer the reason why, because he could never even answer the reason why to himself. Mm-hmm. So.
Suspect. In the docuseries, Jeff Connor recalls the last night he saw his friend Anthony Tony Sears.
Tony Sears was about 23 or 24. Tony Sears was a model. He was very attractive. And he was always immaculately dressed.
He'd gone out to La Cage nightclub while no charges were filed. The accusations led Jeff Connor to leave Milwaukee. He later testified at Dahmer's trial. Sadly, he still feels some guilt about his friend's tragic death.
I wish I could take it all back and make the evening end a different way.
Number 5, Dr.
A lot of times in those situations, they just don't try hard enough because they really was looking at him as the suspect.
That's sad.
And y'all probably didn't try hard enough to look for the man that he was talking about. But like I always say, you got to understand that time period, that late 80s, early 90s. Like I always tell you, the way they police is totally different than the way things are policed now.
Yeah, most definitely.
Norman Goldfarb's recommendation. One of the most upsetting things about the Jeffrey Dahmer case is that he could have been caught on several occasions. After his arrest in 1988, he spoke to psychologist Dr. Norman Goldfarb.
While he was awaiting sentencing, I said, well, I would just do a brief evaluation to get a sense of the status of what we were working with.
In his evaluation, Dr. Goldfarb stated that he was likely to reoffend. However, the judge disregarded the doctor's warning and gave Dahmer a rather lenient sentence.
The judge, in the end, listened to Jeffrey's speech, which was quite moving. He basically, in a nutshell, said, oh, this is terrible. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen again.
In January 1989, he was convicted of enticing a child for immoral purposes and second-degree sexual assault. But it wasn't until May that he was sentenced to 5 years probation. He also received 1 year in the House of Correction where he was allowed work release.
Work release in our state is a program where you can work during the day, the regular work hours, and then you're in the county jail while you're not working. And Jeffrey Dahmer was employed at the Ambrosia Chocolate Factory.
During the time between his conviction and sentencing, he killed his 5th victim, Anthony Sears. Number 4, connection to John Wayne.
Wow. And you know what? One thing that bothered me, I'm like, so where did he said, what, his 4th victim?
5th. Did it say 5th?
Okay.
Did it say 5th?
Damn. So he really, between 89 and 91, over 11 to 12 people, that's a lot of people in the span of 2 years.
Did they say 4th or 5th? Well,
this is the 4th or 5th. But
regardless,
I'll go back just so we can
Okay.
confirm. But that's a lot of people. From 89 to 90, because he got caught in 91 in the summer.
Yeah.
So from 89 to 91.
That's a lot. My thing, 1 is a lot. So that is a lot. Just period. That's a lot.
Damn.
That's crazy.
I'm going to have to go look at that timeline that we had looked at that time. That's crazy.
Chocolate Factory.
During the time between his conviction and sentencing, he killed his 5th victim, Anthony Sears. Number 4, connection to John Wayne Gacy. While John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer never met, The two serial killers knew of each other since their crimes were constantly being compared in the media.
What do I think of Jeffrey Dahmer? I don't know the man personally, but I'll tell you this. That's a good example as to why insanity doesn't belong in a courtroom. Because if Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't meet the requirements for insanity, then I'd hate like hell to run into the guy that does.
However, they did have one strange connection. In the docuseries, Minister Roy Ratcliffe recounts when he baptized Dahmer on May 10th, 1994. That same day, over in Illinois, Gacy, who was convicted of killing over 33 young men, was executed by lethal injection.
On the day of his baptism, John Wayne Gacy was executed that same day.
Whether there's some mystical reason why these two things happened on the day of a partial solar eclipse has never been explained.
Some try to read into that, well, there's some kind of a mystical meaning behind all this.
Number 3, Dahmer's relationship with Tony Hughes. While the majority of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims only knew him for a short time, Tony Hughes reportedly had a longer relationship with him prior to his death in May 1991.
Tony and Jeff had relations. Tony told me so.
A former friend of Hughes, Michael Ross, confirms their history in the docuseries. An entire episode of Monster: The Jeffrey Dahmer Story is dedicated to Hughes, who was deaf and had a speech impairment, including his time spent with Dahmer.
You deaf?
In his interviews, Dahmer doesn't go into detail about his relations with Hughes. However, he does describe how this victim was also one of his experiments.
And I wanted to see if I could think of a way to keep him with me without actually, killing him.
Number 2, Dahmer asked to be moved.
I'm gonna have to watch that because I got a lot of questions about that situation with Tony Hughes and his friend. But because you knew about the relationship, so when an individual that you know go missing, and you know what I'm saying, what we always talk about. That's the reason why I say I actually gotta go watch the tapes to see if he ever said that he suspected Jeff.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
I don't want to jump no guns in that one.
Yeah. No. You good.
I gotta hear detail on that one.
General population. When Jeffrey Dahmer began serving his multiple consecutive life sentences at Columbia Correctional Institution, he was put into a solitary cell to protect him from other prisoners.
So he was placed in a single cell, not in a bullpen.
He told me, what do I have to look forward to?
After a year, Dahmer requested to be put into the general population among fellow inmates. Patrick has tried to persuade him to stay in solitary, but he told her he needed some, quote, mental stimulation.
He just said, please don't do this. You're not gonna make it.
Going into Gen Pop effectively put him at risk, and one day, an inmate did attack him in the neck with a razor. He survived that incident, but would later succumb to head trauma caused by Christopher Scarver in November 1994.
He took the barbell from the exercise room and bludgeoned Dahmer over the head with that weapon.
The information I received from the prison was he did not resist the attack.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. He tried to resist his compulsions for years. As a last-ditch effort to allow his son to start fresh, Lionel decided that Jeff needed to move in with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin in the early 1980s.
Well, why don't you go and move with Grandma? This would be a place that would be healthy for you. She's getting older, she needs the help. And start, in a new city.
His father hoped that a change of scenery and a more structured environment would help his son. And during this time, Dahmer did go to church on Sundays, read the Bible, and spent time with his grandmother, helping out around the house. At one point, he stole a store mannequin as a replacement for a human companion.
A faceless mannequin from a department store didn't cut it for him.
But one day at the West Allis Library, an anonymous note offering sexual services fell into his lap. Though he didn't engage, this encounter triggered his dark desires and set him back on his murderous path.
This made him begin thinking about gay sex much more and realizing he could go get it. So in that sense, it did open the world to him.
Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo.
That's crazy.
Very crazy.
And again, with his sexual orientation thing, because he used to have them come watch the movie, and it was like The Exorcist, and it was like a pastor praying something out of someone. Maybe he thought he can. I don't know this dude, because like pray it out of him, or you know what I'm saying, or can I get the desire out of me while we sit here and watch this movie. And you know what I'm saying? While he starts chanting and watching, are you channeling?
So what you saying that and going back? Because I want to make. Well,
I'm just saying I don't know.
No,
I don't
know.
I'm confused on this dude.
I really don't know because, like I said, I have so many questions
That will never get answered.
I don't know. And it's always kind of like why, but it's kind of like you said. Like, let him tell it. He didn't really understand his why, or whatever the case may be.
Or did he? He just didn't want to.
Or did he?
Really
That's the
explain
question.
and elaborate.
Or did he? He act like he didn't, or did he? Or did he really?
I think he kind of knows, because everything you did was for a reason. So even you sitting down there and watching a film about a priest doing an exorcism on someone, that was a reason why you wanted them to have, and then you were so big into your religion at one point where you was trying to pray this attraction and this feeling out of you, but that was also the reason why you did what you did. Not saying, you know what I'm saying?
It's so confusing, so complex. I just don't. I don't know, child. Because it's kind of like, because I'm trying to,
I think he dealt with a lot of like demons and demonic things that he couldn't hold back anymore. He just had to let it out. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't no excuses for none of what he did.
Yeah, no.
It's all sick. Oh, no. But I'm gonna have to most definitely go watch the tapes because I need an answer about the Tony Hughes.
I may finish the tapes.
Because I need an answer about the Tony Hughes situation. Because if your friend know you are involved with the guy, and you come up missing, and something don't trigger to say, hey, he's been hanging out with, but I don't want to accuse nothing until I get to watch the series and throughout. So
and complete it, and finish it, So we'll see.
Hopefully, because if I don't get my answer with that, then I don't know, man.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't know. We that was one of our main questions about it.
Yeah.
But y'all spam us up. Let us know y'all thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Let us know how y'all feel about everything that has came out. Y'all just let us know where y'all mindset is. But as always, y'all know how it go. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is. We are. Y'all.
Go and get it. Ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes.